RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR Show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what is good, kind people? Lee Sanders here, checking out an all-new The RCWR Show for Monday night of May the 3rd, 2021. How the hell y'all been, man? I hope your weekend was fantastic, depending on where you were. At least over here on the East Coast, some fantastic weather that we had going on. It was so good. I actually was able to get out over the weekend, and I was just doing a little bit of scenic driving with the missus, had the dog in the back, and we were just doing a little bit of sightseeing and everything. I was loving it, man. I was loving it. Nice, cool, crisp breeze that was going on. Can't complain whatsoever. It would seem that officially we are done with old man winter, and I am so glad, man. Let the summer come on, man. This is that time now that winter is over and done with. Some of y'all been, including myself, oh man, New Year's resolution, I'm gonna kick the new year off right, and I'm gonna go hit the gym. And well, kind of hard to do that with COVID and all that, but you get the point that I'm making. Now that we got that good weather that's kicking in, now we can finally really, I love it when spring officially is here. I know that the official start date of spring was a couple of weeks ago, but I love it when we finally officially can be done with the winter coats, with the winter jackets, sweaters, and all that other jazz, and we can finally just really start, letting loose, start pushing shirts and all of that, because that's that good workout type of weather. You feel where I'm coming from? And we got a nice solid show lined up for you guys tonight, man. It's going to be a little bit abbreviated. Try to see if we can definitely do our best to keep it under 2 hours, because I'm going to be coming right back Tuesday, and I think we're doing a double whammy on Tuesday. I got to actually check the manifest and see what's going on, because I know I'm going to be covering NWA Power, but where I'm a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to rely on some of you guys that will maybe be joining us live right now as you speak, or in a couple of seconds, or we'll be checking this out on demand, but I believe the season 3 premiere of Dark Side of the Ring is this Tuesday. So if that is the case, then yeah, I'm going to be doing a double whammy on Tuesday, because on top of doing the NWA Power post show, I'm also effective beginning with episode 1 of season 3's Dark Side of the Ring. I am going to be offering my weekly recaps, thoughts, and all of that, because there was a couple of joints that we did from last season that, was honestly met with some really solid reviews. So I'm definitely going to do my very best to try to cover Dark Side of the Ring a lot more. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I believe we're supposed to be doing a double whammy on Tuesday. Like I said, as long as you're connected to me throughout social media, you guys will definitely have the hookup, and you'll know what is going on. Hey, look, before I go any further into the show, I definitely want to offer some, and I'm actually going to, I'm saying this out in the open, but I'm actually because when I legit care about somebody, I go out of my way to make sure that they know that, hey man, I'm here, I care for you, anything you need, let me know. But I definitely want to send my thoughts and just good spirits to my brother in arms, Anthony Missionary Thomas. I know that most of you guys that check out my show, you may have ended up checking my show because I had made, sporadic appearances over the years on Mish's show over at Wrestling Soup. Or you may know me from doing my thing as a moderator, for their Discord and all that. I'm usually in that circle with them and, Don Tony and them. And I know that there's a good chunk of you guys that make your rounds checking out, all of our shows and everything. Appreciate that, by the way. In case you don't know, Mish has been having some health problems for the past couple of weeks now, and he's being a little bit vague about it. And I think because either he's not really sure what's going on, or he has an idea, but further tests and all of that, and he just wants to make sure, before he really publicly talks about it and all that. So, this past Saturday, he actually had posted a little thread on the Suit Patreon page, and he basically was explaining how, hey guys, I know that for past couple of weeks I've been kind of slacking with uploading the content, and apologies about that, but he pretty much had talked about how, remember a couple of weeks I had said maybe I thought it was maybe this that was going on, and well, it's not that, it's something that. And it was just, when I read it at the time, it was about, because I just happened to be up, I was up just watching TV. I think I was watching that new show with Donnie Wahlberg on HLN, Very Scary People or something like that. You guys know exactly the show that I'm talking about. And I happened to get a notification on my phone about, oh, hey, a new post. Okay, what's going on with this? And I read it. And so, yeah, I don't know what's going on with the brother. I don't know what's going on. But definitely, you guys send your thoughts, send your best wishes and all that. I'm definitely going to try to reach out to him, if not tomorrow, definitely sometime this week, and, just check in with him and everything. But at this point, health above any and everything else. He's actually supposed to be coming to my wedding in a couple of weeks. He's kind of supposed to be my best man and everything, but at this point, none of that matters. What I care most about is the fact that he's 100%, healthy, and whatever is going on, he's able to, take care of that and everything. So yeah, that's crazy, what's going on there. And then literally right before I got on the air, I was talking to my girl. Monday nights going into Tuesdays always sucks for me, because particularly Monday nights, because she works all day. I mean, she's doing like about 15, 16 hours. She works in the healthcare industry. So she works in a managerial position and everything. So, she's working these crazy hours, but particularly it's really heavy on the Mondays. And so usually by the time she gets in here on a Monday night, it's pretty much, hey, what's up? I'm coming in here, getting ready to do the show, and she's getting ready to go to bed because she literally has to rinse and repeat Tuesdays. She's got to get up butt early Tuesday. But she was telling me right before I came on live on the air that her coworker, who she adores, they're like best friends and everything. And her best friend, she's part of a same-sex married couple and everything. Well, turns out her mother had came down with COVID a couple of weeks ago, and it got so it escalated so much, her COVID, her health and all that, it escalated so much that she's now in the hospital on a ventilator. And I said to my girl, I said, damn, I said, well, how old is mom's? It's like, not that old at all. Like, probably late 50s, mid 60s. I'm going to say, what? She's like, yeah. And it was just kind of one of those questions where you go, well, damn, did they at least get a vaccination? You're at that point, you're trying to understand, what exactly is going on there, because now pretty much that COVID-19 vaccination is available any and everywhere. You can pretty much, the odds of you getting that is a lot better than trying to get a hold of a PS5. You've heard me say that numerous times on the show these past several months, and that's no bull. But yeah, the mom's is on a ventilator and everything. It's really, really bad. And you're just like, whoa. And I said to my girl, I said, well, that sucks to hear. Make sure you tell her I have her mom, the whole family, in my thoughts, in my prayers and everything. And because that's just rough to hear. It is. It's just rough to hear that. And I can't stress it enough. I know I've said it off and on these past couple of weeks, but I can't stress it enough. Yeah, if you're able to, please make sure, get vaccinated. It ain't no joke. Get vaccinated. It's better to be safe than sorry. I would rather deal with side effects, potential side effects, than to not take the vaccination at all. You know, that's me. And I'm fully vaccinated. I took both of them. I'm fully vaccinated. Now, just because I'm fully vaccinated, that doesn't mean you're going to be catching your man out on the street. That doesn't mean you're going to be catching me all, fiesta forever, all night long. No, you ain't going to catch a brother doing that. But what you will catch me doing is still wearing my mask. I don't care if I'm out in public. I don't. I'm still going to be wearing my mask. Now look, if it's a situation where maybe I'm at like a park and there's nobody around me, and there's no people for miles, okay, I'll let my guard down a little bit. I'll maybe take my mask off, but I'm still in that, from the moment that I walk out of my door, I'm still in that, got to put on my mask. I'm still in that mode, especially on the rare instances where I'm using public transportation, which is getting less and less these days and everything, as I'm relying more on just actually driving and everything. So, but yeah, I can't stress enough, if you've still been procrastinating and all that, go get that shot already before something worse happens. And then I had heard via email from the person that works under my college class president, for the entire campus, the head honcho in charge, that apparently their father was dealing with COVID, and they actually succumbed to COVID over the weekend. So they have left. They've taken an extended absence while all of this is going on, and you're like, wow. I don't mean to lay all this on you guys, but I just can't help. But I promise, there's a lot of fun stuff that's going to be happening throughout the rest of the show, but I just can't help but really make sure we open up this show and just, with regards to health and well-being and safety and all that, and just continue to make sure that you stay on top of it. I know that, I'll say this last part, I know that, you see the stupid shit that's going on in Florida. Some of you guys, I don't know if you've been keeping tabs on what's happening in other states, but in Florida, which is a hot topic right now, you've got Governor DeSantis, who decided, we're just going to go on ahead and we're just going to lift all restrictions, no mask, no nothing, just back to business as usual. And it was already bizarro world down there in Florida, even when the pandemic first broke out. You guys know this very well, because originally my wedding was supposed to be in Florida. I was supposed to be married as of last year. But when all the stupid shit was going on in Florida, and I was paying very close attention to how they were handling things, I had decided, okay, you know what? No, these aren't going to be the people that's going to be hosting the wedding. Nope. Sayonara, bitch. And I believe there was a Jericho cruise that we actually were supposed to go on that year as well. We put money down for that cruise, and we just decided, yeah, you know what? And now I can't remember if that Jericho cruise had still happened. No, it didn't. If I remember correctly, the money basically got forwarded, if I remember correctly, to the cruise that's supposed to be happening this year. But yeah, I mean, so just, stay on top of it. Make sure you're getting yourself vaccinated and all that. This shit ain't no joke. We're almost there at the finish line. You hear stupid shit like that in Florida, and Governor Cuomo out there in New York, you hear him getting ready to do some shit, trying to lift the restrictions as well. And you're just like, whoa. It's easy to kind of feel emboldened. You feel where I'm coming from? But don't go with that. Follow the science, follow the rules, follow what the CDC is saying and all that other shit. You feel me? Raw this week wasn't that bad of a show. I got to be honest with you. It was actually pretty decent for the most part. Here and there. I mean, there was a couple of spots that kind of piqued my interest a little bit, but decent show, I would have to say overall. Opening up, we had AJ Styles and Omos kicking us off there. That was pretty good. They're still basking in the fact that they are the new WWE RAW Tag Team Champions. Omos got that mask swagger going on. I'm loving it. AJ Styles, Omos pretty much rubbing it in New Day's face, how they crushed them at WrestleMania. This pretty much had set up Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston to come out and challenge them to a tag match. So this was essentially a WrestleMania rematch. Pretty good opener. It was actually a pretty good opener. Pretty much recycling the same logic in the ring that they did at WrestleMania, which was, okay, you're Xavier Woods and you're Kofi. You want to do any and everything in your power to make sure that AJ Styles does not tag in the big man Omos, because once that dude is tagged in, it's pretty much, you can forget about it. Your defeat is inevitable at the hands of Omos, so you can pretty much forget about it. That was pretty much the main story that they were telling here in this match tonight. Again, just like what they did at WrestleMania a couple of weeks ago. I loved it. Now I do have one little bone to pick with regards to Omos, and that bone I would have is I need for Omos to pick up the speed just a little bit. Not to the point that he's trying to, legitimately, unintentionally hurt somebody. I don't want him to unintentionally hurt somebody as a result of him picking up the speed. I want him to be accurate. I definitely want him to be careful and mindful of his dance partner and everything, but I need for him to pick up the speed just a little bit and what's going on. And if you didn't watch Raw tonight, or you did, but you missed this, now that I'm putting this thought in your head, just go back and watch this match. Watch when Omos is in the ring, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You got many spots during this tag match where when it was Omos that was at the receiving end of, some type of an attack within reason, like when he kept getting the kicks to the ankles, no problem there. I mean, he was selling stuff like that just fine. But let's say there was actually one part in the match where Omos had one of the guys from New Day, and he was getting ready to do the Bane backbreaker and everything. There is such a slow reactionary delay as far as, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to go. You can tell that he's still very green in a lot of areas. Even when it was a case where there was a double team on him by Xavier and Kofi, there was the delay. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got that kind of, just have that in the back of your mind when you go back and you watch him, and just watch how he moves and everything. As far as his feet goes in that ring, just watching how he moves and everything. It's like he's wrestling with cinder blocks around his ankles. He's pretty jagged. He's pretty, and hopefully that can improve in good time. Look, do I expect for him to ultimately be Kane, or The Undertaker, as far as the way moving in the ring and all that? No, I'm not expecting any of those things. But I just feel that he needs a little bit more time to really get those sequences down. He needs particularly more time on his footwork, because right now he's kind of in there. Doesn't really come off as if he's got that good rhythm down. You all will peep that out now that I've put that out there. But other than that critique about Omos, I was okay. I was okay with the tag match that they did here tonight. And this was for the WWE Tag Team titles, by the way. It was for the tag titles. AJ Styles, Omos picking up the dub here. Okay of a match. Boys went about 12 minutes and some change. It was all right. From there, backstage, Charlotte Flair is chatting it up with Sonya Deville. We just kind of catch the tail end of this conversation between the two. Adam Pearce comes in, and he pretty much just missed whatever was going on there, and he pretty much lays into Sonya, hey, man, you and me, we're getting off on the wrong foot here because we're having a serious miscommunication problem to the point lately you have been overstepping your bounds, and I don't appreciate that. So kind of ended on that little bit of a cliffhanger between those two. But probably the biggest piece of news tonight, for those of you that were looking for your where's the post WrestleMania surprise? Where's the sizzle? Where's the pop? Where's the steak? Where's the beef? Where's the beef? Well, we had got it tonight in the form of a little vignette, as we saw that apparently Eva Marie, 36-year-old Eva Marie, is going to be making her return to the WWE. And her little vignette, she pretty much was just, standing beside and laying beside a little red Corvette. Baby, you're much too fast. Little red Corvette. Need to find a love that's gonna last. Certainly, red Corvette. So, Eva Marie is back, apparently. And I know Eva Marie has a shitload of fans. I know she does. She has a shitload of fans. Hi, Eva Marie fans. Me personally, let me see if I got this straight. So, we cough up Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickie James, all relatively in that same age range as Eva Marie, maybe older by a year or two for some of them. You might be able to say Mickie James probably the oldest out of those women that I had just named and everything. But all of these women, talented in their own right. And yet we get rid of all these women. We're talking about quality here now. We're talking about quality over quantity. This is a case right here where WWE looked at these women as unnecessary quantity, eliminated them, and we have decided to bring back in Eva Marie. The same Eva Marie that essentially quit the business some years back to essentially try to launch her own little successful Hollywood career and all of that good jazz. I mean, that's pretty much what she decided to do. She pretty much left WWE, let's be honest, she pretty much left them high and dry. And, I don't know about you, but, I'm loyalty for me is a very important trait. It's a fine trait that I just, I care tremendously about. I care tremendously about loyalty. So, it'd be one thing if you were to tell me, not for nothing, but at the time that Eva Marie was on the main roster for WWE, it was just a bunch of stupid booking that was going on with her. They weren't really sure how to utilize her properly, and she was involved in this little silly angle and this, and, creatively, she just kind of reached that breaking point where it'd be one thing if maybe you as a fan were to spin that to me. Okay, all right, I feel you on that bet. I'm totally there with you. But that's not even the case of what happened. It's not. I mean, does anybody remember how fans used to be getting on Eva Marie and her whole in-ring ability and all that? And remember how she just really took that to heart? That criticism? Hey, some people, they meant well. They were offering constructive criticism. But remember how much not a pro she was taking it? And she just, when it was just too much, she rolled out. And now we're supposed to think that this second time around, it's going to be much different. I mean, she did the whole WWE thing from 2013 until about 2017, and then she pretty much rolled out. And now she's back. We're talking about the evolution. Or evolution. For those of you that, got to get those wet rags out there. it just feels like a step backwards if you ask me personally. Just my 2 cents from a distance. It just kind of feels like we're kind of going back to that Bella's, Eva Marie, kind of era. We're kind of going to that diva era a little bit. And I don't know about you guys, but just considering where we are right now, particularly in the WWE and the whole women's evolution and just the phenomenal talents that we got down there, stretched out between all three brands, and even down there at the Performance Center, Eva Marie, what this ultimately feels like to me that WWE is trying to accomplish here, it just feels like strictly from just a pop culture standpoint, much like how Xavier Woods is pretty much that bridge to pop culture endeavors outside of WWE. He's pretty much that bridge for WWE. Make no mistake about it, in case you guys have not figured it out yet, with regards to Xavier Woods now being part of the G4 family and everything, make no mistake about it, WWE is getting a nice little quiet hush hush cut from G4. I wouldn't be surprised if, on the back end, the WWE is helping G4 out finance a couple of things and everything. But make no mistake about it, that we are going to be seeing a lot more WWE superstars incorporated with G4. Make no mistake about that. I'm telling you guys that right now. And to the person in the chat that's, talking about some, oh, Prince sucks. Prince is overrated. Look, hey, you know what? I can't be mad at you, because at the end of the day, guess what? You're entitled to your opinion just as I'm entitled to my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. That's what makes this world so fucking beautiful, is that we all don't like the same thing. Look, you're talking to somebody just some weeks ago when it came to the talk of when it came to the talk of Bad Bunny. I told you guys, I said, I don't particularly care for Bad Bunny. Don't care for him whatsoever. Don't care for his music. Don't really care for him on TV. Then when the WrestleMania joint had happened, hey, I said, okay, as a performer in the ring, I got a lot of respect for him. Still don't particularly care for his music, and what, you guys remember that? And I said, hey, anybody else that likes Bad Bunny, hey, that's your cup of tea. It's all good. So, if you were hoping to maybe wild me up because of you saying that, I'm sorry, but I'm not a kid, I'm like 40 now. So that doesn't hurt me whatsoever. It's like, I can counter that and tell you that I've heard people say Nickelback sucks. Nickelback is probably one of the, for many, worst bands that's out there, yet Nickelback has its fans. Everybody's got their own respected cup of tea. If we all loved the same thing, from food to pets to music to what we like to read, if we all in this world operated the same way on every single category, we'd be some boring ass fucking people. It'd be a really boring society when you really kind of stop and think about it. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, so make no mistake about it though, G4, WWE, you're going to be seeing a lot of superstars in WWE make that transition to G4. Make no mistake about that. Charlotte Flair taking on Dana Brooke. That was our second match of the evening. Gotta tell you guys, I felt that Dana Brooke had no business being in the ring there with Charlotte Flair. I'm looking at this match and I'm going, how long is this match gonna last? Like, seriously, like how long is this gonna last? And I'm looking at this and I just couldn't help but feel like, what the hell is this girl doing in this ring with one of the best in Charlotte Flair. Like seriously, I'm supposed to take this for all that it's worth, and I'm supposed to get excited for a Dana Brooke match versus Charlotte Flair. I'm like, I tried to get that thought out of my head, but at the same time, because look, I tried to counter it, legit. I tried to counter it, and I tried to go in with the mindset of, okay, you know what? Charlotte Flair, maybe she'll be able to help Dana Brooke kind of rise to the occasion here. Okay, let me give this match the benefit of the doubt here. Let me see what's going on. Was it just me, or did it really kind of come off as if Charlotte was just physically going through the motions of this match? I saw her barely selling to Dana Brooke. It just, the mood in that ring, just the vibe I was kind of getting from Charlotte, it was just kind of one of those, I don't really care for this match. I don't really care to be facing this opponent. It was kind of one of those. It was kind of one of those type of deals. That was the vibe that I had got. I felt that Charlotte Flair was playing down too much to the level of Dana Brooke. That's what I honestly felt. And I don't know if she was instructed to conduct herself in this way in this match or what, but this continued infatuation that certain people in the back have with a Dana Brooke. I saw so much stock in Mandy Rose, and now Mandy Rose is just, she's kind of now at this purgatory level, and I just can't help but wonder, what's going on there? What's going on? Is there any way she can kind of overcome that purgatory status, or is she going to slip even further down? Because she had so much potential several months back, and just where things are now with her, it's just a head scratcher. But that's Mandy Rose. We're talking about Dana Brooke still. You can fucking give me a match with Dana Brooke, Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title. You can do whatever you want with Dana Brooke. I'm still going to, for the most part, look at Dana Brooke the same way I've looked at her for almost her entire career in the WWE. Hey, look, has she made leaps and bounds of, trying to improve and all that, trying to perfect her craft? Yes, without a shadow of doubt. But you know what? You can do all of that all you want. At the end of the day, it still comes down to just that overall connection, that you have with the fans. Either you've got that when you come out, you got those fans in the palm of your hand as a babyface, you got them in the palm of your hands as a heel. You're getting some type of reaction. Some type of a reaction. Even to a degree, Go Away, he can be bad at times. Go Away, he can be good at times. That's what I meant to say, not bad at times. Go Away, he can be good at times. But to not have any reaction at all, that's a detriment to a wrestler's career. And I am still at that point right now where I just continue to look at somebody like Dana Brooke, and I'm just... So we coughed up all these other girls I just mentioned a few minutes ago, and Dana Brooke, right? Riddle me this. Nia Jax has been fiending for the past couple of weeks, getting her hands on Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and all that. Because they continue to make a fool out of her, a mockery out of her, with her little slip and fall, little accidents here and there and shit. And yet, when it counted the most, there was no Shayna Baszler. There was no Nia Jax at ringside to pretty much beat the living bejeebus out of Mandy Rose, try to cause a little bit of a distraction there for, what's her name, Dana Brooke, and essentially cause her to duck. I don't know who the hell was booking this match, but I was expecting for that type of a finish to come about, and it never came. It never came. Bless that little Dana Brooke, though. Bless her heart. I mean, she goes out there, she tries. She really tries. It just don't match. It just don't match up. Especially when you are in the ring with the likes of a Charlotte Flair, and they essentially have to try to play down to your level. Yeah. Anyway, Sonya Deville comes out next. Talks about how she is an equal to that of Adam Pearce as far as power and all that goes. And basically, Sonya presents the mic time there to Charlotte Flair. Charlotte, when it's all said and done, the reason why she was out here with the microphone post-match, she was trying to put herself in a position where she could get a shot at that Raw Women's Championship. She was trying to somehow see if the match between Rhea Ripley and Asuka could somehow become a triple threat match. Rhea Ripley comes out. She pretty much says she ain't down with Charlotte's plan. She sees the politicking, the maneuvering that she's trying to do and everything. She ain't down for that shit. She sees right through it and everything. Doesn't really have a problem with it because she says, hey, I've beaten you before. So it ain't no biggie for me, but I see what you're doing. I ain't feeling it. Asuka comes out. She pretty much says she can beat Charlotte. She can beat Rhea because she wants the title. So, all these women, they're pretty much pissed off at each other and everything. We see a little bit of a brawl, kind of come down as Rhea, who's pretty pissed off. She gets in the face of Sonya, does Rhea Ripley. Flair attacks Rhea from behind. Asuka attacks Charlotte from behind. So, you pretty much, the way that segment ended, you got Asuka pretty much standing there all tall and strong and everything. So, okay. So, besides Lashley, Strowman, I'm missing the guy. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Lashley, Strowman, McIntyre. Besides them having their triple threat at the Backlash pay-per-view a week from Sunday. Okay, now we're going with a women's version triple threat for that same pay-per-view. So I'm not really sure how to feel about that. Honestly, I kind of feel as though it's not really needed to just do all these triple threats. It's good to just do one. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. Humberto Carrillo still pretty pissed off at what went down with Sheamus from last week. He's vowing to get revenge. Once again, Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce, they clash. It is what it is. John Morrison taking on Damien Priest. Big bulk of this match pretty much went to commercial time, so it was really kind of hard to, really get into this matchup. But this was pretty much a squash match. Damien Priest picking up the dub. I'm ready to see this guy move on to other things, like bigger and better things. Because now that Bad Bunny is out of the mix, I just kind of feel as though right now, the longer that we have Damien Priest linked up with Miz and Morrison, I just kind of feel that that's going to further hurt his stock on the main roster. It just kind of feels like we need to separate these guys already, particularly Damien Priest. Separate him from these guys already. If we're going to continue to go down this path with Damien Priest, Miz, and Morrison, then let's spice it up a little bit. Let's make it a little bit more interesting. And I say, we haven't seen him in some weeks. I don't know what's going on with the brother. I miss the man big time. Miss him big time. Where is my man Keith Lee? I need to know what's going on with Keith Lee. One of the last things I saw from Keith Lee, because I don't like follow him on social media like that, but there was a post that he put out there where he talked about how he hears everybody. He's reading the comments, and he pretty much was saying good things come to those who wait. Just taking it one step at a time. Trust me, I'm going to be back in that ring bigger and better than before. Just have patience, keep hope alive is pretty much his message and everything. Like, unless we're doing this with Damien Priest because we're essentially going to kind of maybe reintroduce Keith Lee, I'd be okay with that. If we're having Damien Priest continue to be involved with, Jomo, Mizmo. Mizmo. If we're continuing to have him be incorporated with these guys, I hope that's the payoff, is that we're going to ultimately see, There's been a lot of speculation too as far as what's going on with Keith Lee. I mean, I hate dealing with speculation. I've always been one of those type of guys. I really hate speculation. I would rather just deal with the facts. And what's fact is that we haven't seen him on WWE programming for several weeks, a couple of months now. Now, in that process, he officially, popped the question to Mia Yim. She said yes. So, they're engaged. They're going to get married. So, I mean, that's great, but, outside of that, we could use the brother. So hopefully that's what's going to be happening soon. Fourth matchup of the night, Lucha House Party, Cedric Alexander. You like how we're just blazing through this so far? I got to say, we're actually doing pretty good. And I'm actually being kind of mindful of the time right now. We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. Fourth matchup of the night, Lucha House Party, taking on Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, actually defeating Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Bear with me a second here. Let me just crank this up a little bit. There we go. That's a lot better. So I believe this is now 0-4, 0-5 as far as defeats that Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander have faced. You're looking at this and you're just going, what the fuck? Post-match, Cedric Alexander grabs the microphone, cuts one hell of a damn good promo, most strongest promo in recent memory, and talks about, what the hell, dude? We just keep squandering away these opportunities. How many has this been now post the Hurt Business? And then we just keep coming up short. And he pretty much decides, now, you know what? As far as the weak link goes in the Hurt Business, it was never me. It was actually you. You know what? I'm not going to waste another second with you, brother. I'm done. I'm done being part of this whole tag team with you. So really damn good promos. Really, really. As far as shit, I would say go out of your way and check out. I would say go out of your way and check that out. See if you can maybe find that somewhere on YouTube. Post-match, Kayla Braxton, she catches up with Shelton backstage and just trying to, get an idea where his mindset is after those harsh words, harsh criticism that came from his former tag partner. And Shelton went all in. He pretty much said, hey, I've been here in this company for a long time, worked elsewhere at many other companies. Let me tell you something, I've outlasted them all. Especially kids that have been pretty much a flash in the pans, young dudes like Cedric Alexander. Only reason why Cedric Alexander was even in the Hurt Business was because of me. I'm the one that saw something in him, saw what he could potentially bring to the stable. So I was the one responsible for bringing him in. I gave him his space. I let him say his piece and everything, but make no mistake about it, going forward, whatever the hell he wants to do, that's fine with him and everything. But when it comes to me, he's going to respect me. He's going to respect my name. And he pretty much said, hey, he keep it up. He keeps going down the path that he's on right now. He's going to fizzle out as a young star, just like everybody else he's seen that's come through over the years. So as far as he's concerned, he will continue to survive. It was good. So, I mean, this was a really good instance here where two really good promos came out of both of these men. I still don't like the fact that we got the whole Hurt Business. It's over. It's done with and everything. I'm still not a fan of that. And the fact that now, as the weeks progress, it seems we're getting more further and further away to the idea I had there of, hey, wouldn't it be cool if maybe somewhere down the line, Shelton Benjamin, Lashley, yeah, sure, Lashley is going to easily, but it would still be an entertaining matchup and everything. Now it seems as though we're getting a little bit more further and further away from that whole idea, and it just kind of seems more like, okay, now it's about what these men can do individually as stars. So even though we might not like the fact that the Hurt Business is no more, you can't help but look at this and say to yourself, well, they all did mature exceptionally well while in the Hurt Business. Maybe, just maybe, this go round, maybe something can kind of happen for both of these respected men. You know, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm optimistic. You know, I'm a little bit curious. I don't know, man. Stranger things have happened. We'll have to wait and see. Hey, you guys been enjoying the show so far? If you haven't done so already, please make sure you go out of your way and you hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and click on the bell notification so you know about more content that's coming your way on a weekly basis. We got loaded programming notes to give you guys for this week, so stay tuned. I'll give that to you in a hot minute. Drew Gulak taking on Angel Garza. 2 minutes of a beatdown squash match, pretty much. Gulak losing to Garza. I mean, this was pretty much an instant Acme feud kind of match, basically. It is what it is. Matt Riddle teaming up with Randy Orton once again. I actually like the circumstances of how this had came together too, because Elias and Jason Riker were backstage and they had some tomatoes, and they actually had saw Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods chilling and everything, licking their wounds from, you know, the defeat they took at the hands of Omos and AJ. And right as they launched the tomatoes at those boys, those tomatoes actually landed on Randy Orton. Riker, Elias, hauled ass, and Riddle, just the perfect timing. Just the way that this was booked was awesome. You know, Riddle just goes past Randy Orton on his little fucking scooter. What's up, Randy? Just goes right past him. You know, and then later on, so you kind of, you're putting two together. Randy's probably going to ask for a match. He's probably going to want to kick those guys' ass. And sure enough, yeah. So Riddle catches up with Orton, you know, later on backstage and everything. And like, look, you know, real talk, you know, I know we got to be serious and all. Look, I get it. Riker and Elias. But hey, look, you know, we're undefeated right now. And Randy Orton kind of plays off of that. We just only had one match. Like, what do you mean we're undefeated? And Riddle's basically trying to say to him, hey, look, you know, this RKBro thing, we're off to a good start. We got one under our belt. You know, I think we got something going on here. So Randy Orton actually kind of agrees and says, okay, let's go out there. Let's have another match. And let's see if we could string together another victory. So Matt Riddle, Randy Orton taking on Elias, Jason Riker. About, 5 minutes of a match, give or take. Randy Orton, Riddle picking up the dub. Riddle wanted to pose with Orton so bad. He's doing his little arms out. He wanted for Orton to pretty much do his thing, but Randy Orton is not quite there just yet. He's not quite there just yet. I got to tell you, of all the things that's been going on Raw within recent weeks, I'm really loving this pairing of Riddle and Orton. I mean, it's just... It's amazing, because when you really kind of take a step back and you think about it, we kind of saw for the longest time Jeff Hardy and Riddle. We kind of saw that being teased. So you're like, okay. And then you see Riddle and New Day, and you're like, okay, yeah, that could maybe go a little somewhere. Okay, maybe. You even saw for a hot minute there a little bit of a Sheamus and Riddle. And I thought for sure, as far as tag teams go, I thought for sure maybe that was actually going to be the one that was going to go down. Because a lot of people don't give Sheamus his props, but as far as comedic timing and all that, over the years, Sheamus has proven he can deliver some solid shit, if it's written just right and everything. A lot of people sleep on that Sheamus when it comes to comedic shit. So I was actually expecting of all the things to happen with Riddle as far as a official tag team goes, I actually was thinking that it was going to be Riddle and Sheamus. So the fact that this whole RK-Bro thing just, it kind of just magically, just kind of organically too, I might add, doesn't feel forced. It's very organic. I love it. It's one of those happy fortuitous events, so to speak, because you just didn't think that, who would have thought this would have been so good? I mean, this has all the potential in the world to go right up there with Team Hell No, and, just go over the list in your mind. You guys definitely would agree with that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about that. We got a new addition for you guys that want some more sizzle as far as, okay, well, Eva Marie, Mansoor made his WWE RAW debut as a in-ring competitor. We saw him sign a contract at all backstage with Adam Pearce. Sheamus sarcastically welcoming him and all that. And boy, was that like the most racist, fucked up thing that you ever heard from Sheamus too, by the way? I know I heard that shit right. He said to Adam Pearce, "Oh, look at what you got here, fella. You went out and got yourself a little Indian." And you're just like, oh, no, he didn't go there. No, he did not go there. You're like, no, my man did not go there. And you just see Mansoor just kind of standing there. And you're like, oh, man. I was just kind of picturing that Dave Chappelle joint, when keeping it real goes wrong. It's kind of one of those moments. I gotta say, I almost didn't recognize Mansoor because I'm so used to him with the long hair. But, now that it's cut and everything, for me at least, I don't know how it is for you guys, but he looks a lot more like Seth Rollins. A lot more like Seth Rollins. I was even asking my girl about it briefly. I said, doesn't he look a little bit like Seth Rollins? She kind of looked. She said, yeah, a little bit. I kind of see it. I'm like, hey, he looks a lot like Seth Rollins. It's like, okay, now you kind of get an idea how Seth Rollins would look with the short hair there and everything. But Sheamus essentially challenges Mansoor to a match and everything. And I saw Triple H on social media right before Raw tonight. He gave Mansoor such high praise. And off and on over the years, you have heard me give him praise for Mansoor. I think he is very good. I mean, look, young man has, great body. He's got a great looking face. The English language, I mean, he's got that motherfucker down pack. I see him going pretty far without a shadow of doubt. Good in the ring. I mean, very solid in the ring. I personally feel sky's the limit for that young man. Sky is the limit for that young man. I see nothing but big things happening for him. So Sheamus versus Mansoor. This was not for the United States Championship. It was a non-title matchup. Sheamus pretty much won this via DQ because towards the end, Humberto Carrillo, remember, he wanted that revenge. I mean, he just came out of nowhere and he was just beating the holy crap out of Sheamus. Referee had no choice but to call for the bell. Now, despite that, I also love the fact that Sheamus ended up looking pretty damn strong between both of these guys because, I mean, when you look at the bout between he and Mansoor, I mean, he's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Mansoor, and Mansoor just continues to come out, beating the 10 count, going through such a vicious attack, being sent through the announce table and all that, over it, and then, he's coming to, and physically you're like, okay, yeah, this guy's out of it, somehow wills himself to get back in there, takes all of the physical brutality that's coming from Sheamus. I like the way that Mansoor was built up here and everything, and kind of protected at the same time when you really kind of take a step back and you think about it and everything. I know some people may kind of look at this and they may shit on it a little bit, but when you really kind of take a step back and you think about it, for Mansoor's, debut as a full-time in-ring competitor for Raw, they had him get off, I thought, on the right foot here. With regards to Carrillo, look, Carrillo's got that bulk now. There's no denying that. I mean, he's got that bulk and everything. He looks like he can, wait a minute, let's give this guy a second look. Maybe we kind of messed things up the second go round. Maybe, and his English seems a lot better. a lot better than what we last saw of him in the previous month. So, if you were to ask me straight up, Lee, Mansoor, or, Carrillo, who's it going to be? Like just pick one and go forward with them. I got to go with Mansoor, but I think the way this is probably ultimately going to be going down here, because like I said, ultimately, Sheamus, bro kicked to both of these guys, and he was the one standing tall and everything. I hope that we don't get into another lame-ass kind of booking, particularly going into WrestleMania Backlash, where we got a triple threat for the United States Championship. I hope that's not the direction we're going to be going in, because that's just going to be too fucking lazy, I personally feel. Hopefully it's going to be a case where Carrillo, Sheamus, they go at it, and then pretty much once that's over and done with, then you slide in Mansoor. Hopefully that's what's gonna go down. But look, it's Mansoor's pretty good. If you guys didn't watch the Saudi Arabia shows, because he had popped up on pretty much all of them, if I'm not mistaken. If you didn't watch him on any of those, and you kind of like what you saw tonight, I mean, you're in for a real treat, because when you watch this guy, you just kind of feel as though, might be looking at something kind of special here. Get this guy about maybe 5 years. He might be able to string it all together. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But checking off all those marks, man, so far. And not to mention, as far as trying to make sure that WWE is hitting all of those respected demographics. Yeah, good addition for the Mansoor. Great addition for the Mansoor. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, wasn't like they weren't in the building. Remember what I talked about earlier? But they were able to show up for this particular match here against Naomi and Lana. Pretty much, really a squash match. I don't even think this match was 90 seconds. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler picking up the dub. Braun Strowman taking on Lashley. That was your main event of the night. And if I remember this correctly, because at this point I was starting to get ready to do the show and everything, and I had let my dog out one more time. If I remember this correctly, Lashley had won. It's actually a little bit that I saw. Out of 100%, I would say I probably had watched about maybe 60-70% of this match. It was actually pretty damn good between Strowman and Lashley. I actually, no bull, it was actually pretty good. Drew McIntyre was on commentary as he was watching all the action that was going on. Post-match was really, really weird for me, though, because, Drew just attacks Braun Strowman post-match. And it was so odd, because it was like, wait a minute. Drew McIntyre makes this big deal out of, face me, come on, face me like a man. Don't attack me from behind. I'm right here in front of you. Come on, lad. Do it to my face. And you constantly, over and over and over again with Drew, and he's kind of this, this heroic kind of baby face. And yet post-match, he just attacks Braun from behind. It was very uncharacteristic, I gotta say. I did peep that out, and I just kind of scratched my head at that one, and I just couldn't help but wonder exactly what was the whole point in that. If it would have ended with McIntyre getting right in the face of Braun, and then he owns his ass, okay, that's cool. But solid match between Lashley and Braun Strowman. I went into it low expectations, and I actually came away going, decent main event. Okay, pretty good. Claymore to Lashley as well. So, on top of laying out Braun Strowman, McIntyre also laid out Lashley. So, it was pretty good. And then we get to find out that next week is going to be, oh God, I'm trying to see if I remember it. I think next week it's supposed to be Drew McIntyre versus... Oh, man, I can't remember. I can't remember if McIntyre is supposed to face Strowman or if it's McIntyre faces, I think it's McIntyre faces Lashley next week. I'm almost certain it's McIntyre faces Lashley. And we kind of have an idea how that's pretty much going to end, as Strowman is pretty much going to cash in that receipt of an ass whooping, right? So decent Raw overall, though. I would say decent Raw. A couple of little bright spots here and there. Moment of the night for me, I definitely, again, I got to give it up to Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. They get high marks for the respected promos that they had gave in the ring and backstage. I got to give them their respected high marks. Pretty good. Match of the night. Match of the night, I would have to go with, let me look here. My match of the night, I actually would have to go with Sheamus and Mansoor, actually. I would actually go with Sheamus and Mansoor, and then I would go with Strowman taking on Lashley, exactly in that order. That's pretty much how I would break it down. Most disappointing moment of the entire night, I would have to go with, God, it's almost a tie, because it's like, do we go with the Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Naomi Lana, or do you go with Dana Brooke, Charlotte Flair? Like you know, it's almost a tie right there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave it at a tie. I'll definitely have to leave it at a tie. So yeah, that's Raw. So we got some more stuff that we can definitely talk about on the show here. How we doing on Showtime, by the way? We're doing fantastic. We're only about, well, I had a little bit of a delay of a start, so it looks like we're about maybe an hour into the show. So we're pretty good so far. Let's keep rocking and let's keep rolling. So I'll give you something non-wrestling related, and then we can go right into some wrestling little tidbits and all that. And then we can pretty much stick a fork in it. I'll give you the program and notes as well, and all that good stuff. So, hey, let me just make a mental mark here. Bear with me a second here. There we go. Okay, I'm good, guys. All right. So yeah, so special announcement. My week is kicking off to a fantastic start. I gotta say, I got hit with some unexpected news. This is good news, people. I know we kind of opened up with a little bit of a Debbie Downer earlier and everything. But no, this is great news, actually. So, two pieces of good news. The latter, I don't know what it's gonna mean as far as my schedule goes. Like, I know I'm still gonna be doing shows. Just stay with me. So the first piece of good news, I apparently, as you guys know, I'm back in college, and I've been enjoying the experience. I've been pretty much taking all my classes remotely online. It's been awesome. I've been getting nothing but A's this semester. I've just been out there, and I've been crushing it. As far as, which classes I've been enjoying the most, which classes have I been having the most fun in, I've been having the most fun in my English class. And I can't tell you guys how reinvigorated that particular class has made me feel as a writer. Because, not to be long-winded about it, but for those of you that's been with me for many years, you know that at one point I used to write, 3 to 5 articles on the website every single week. Back when it was Infinity1Productions.com. Now it's RCWRShow.com. And, I tell you, I started doubting myself. I started doubting my writing and everything when, you all know this very well, when I had that unfortunate incident that went down a couple of years back with that guy that's in charge of that wrestling site. All right. And you just got to go in the archives and listen to the whole thing to, you know, get what I'm talking about. And I mean, that had played such a serious number on my psyche, you know, that I had really started, you know, doubting my writing value and everything, you know, and not for nothing, but I would say probably about out of 100% of the time, usually about 60% of the time, I would normally hire a transcriber to, you know, edit my interviews, give me the audio transcripts, and then I would proofread their stuff. And I pretty much would clean it up. I'd put the commas where it needed to go. If something was inaudible, well, I got picture perfect memory. I knew exactly what that person was saying at the part that was inaudible. So I'd be able to just go in there and I would clean it up and everything, you know. But the way that this guy from this one website was just, it really had crushed my writing spirits. I got to tell you guys, it really had crushed my writing spirits. And my English teacher, I mean, she really, these past several weeks since I've been in this class, she really had validated my writing. And it was revigorating. You know, it was like a new, you know, wow, you know, this whole time I was, you know, the only thing that was wrong with me and my writing was that a lot of times I would be very long-winded. And I wasn't thinking from the standpoint of just, you know, get in, get out. You know, here's your topic. Here's your 3 to 5 examples, you know, to back up your argument or whatever, or your case. You know, get in, get out. You know, think like that for the reader and everything. Help them get in and out. So I wasn't kind of really thinking along those levels. So to rediscover my passion for writing and all that, it's been awesome. And as I had said to my professor, I said, look, you know, eventually I want to break into, you know, officially, I want to break into the broadcast media industry, you know, whether that's as a reporter, you know, doing radio, you know, doing TV, you know, that's the ultimate goal. But I would also like to, you know, write screenplays for Hollywood, author a couple of books. You know, that's the point where I'm at right now. And I had got an email today where I was nominated and I actually won the award. And let me just actually see if I can pull up this email here. Yeah, I was nominated and awarded the Laura Hurst Award for Outstanding IERW Student of the Year for 2020-2021. And this award honors students who may start their college experience needing to strengthen their reading and writing skills, but have the motivation and attitude to build those skills and move on to college level classes. So I was nominated, and I won this award. Now, as part of it, apparently I'm going to be receiving a small monetary award that's going to be deposited into my college account at the end of the semester. I'm also getting some type of a small gift bag that I'll be able to pick up, you know, from my English department once the college reopens. And the person presenting me the award, and they're actually looking forward to meeting me in person and everything. There's also going to be a certificate for this award that's going to be available for me as well. So my professor was telling me about this, and she said, this award is a pretty big deal. Like, you know, we don't just give it out to anybody. It's like, you know, you won this. It's like, oh, wow, cool. She's like, yeah, you know, make sure you put this on your resume. I said, okay, cool, bet. Like, thank you so much. I'm just in awe, like, wow, you know, cool. So that's news one. And then the second piece of awesome news is that I have been nominated. I have been nominated and I have been elected as a 2021-2022 student council member. So I'm now part of the council. Yeah, your man's been, yeah. So first meeting is this Thursday. And from what I understand, we're gonna have to like meet up a couple of times a week or whatever. So kind of like, what does that entail for those of you that maybe haven't done the whole college experience, things of that nature? What does this mainly consist of? So as part of the student council, I'm basically going to be getting together with other council members, teachers, faculty, and we're going to be discussing ways of improving the overall college experience for everybody, but particularly for students, especially those that are coming in for their first semester and everything. This position, I'm pretty much going to have this position for a year. For a year, I'm going to have this position. And from there, I think as far as I know, there isn't a re-election thing. I just hold it for 1 year, but I can move on to another position within the student council from what I understand. Like if I get nominated for something else and I want to take it, if I'm not contested, then I pretty much win by default. I got to see how the voting results went for this one, but yeah. So that's part of it. We could potentially be talking about ways to raise revenue for the school. For instance, I would imagine we're probably going to be talking about, hey, what do we think about opening up the school for everybody, or should we continue to remain remote? All that type of stuff. The things that like most people don't think about when they're doing the whole college experience. They're just like, what class am I supposed to take? What time? They're just thinking about that. We're doing all those little nuances of logistic bullshit that most people don't think about. So my orientation is this Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's two big pieces of news that's going on here. So yeah, I got a lot on my plate right now. I'm happy. It's interesting. Sometimes I just kind of take a step back. I know what I had said to you guys earlier and everything about the pandemic, but yeah, I just find it interesting just where I was exactly over a year ago. The type of person I was then, where I was career-wise, and just where I am now in my life. And if there's one main message that I have for you guys, if there's anything that you might be able to walk away from this stream tonight or whenever you check this out, I know this pandemic has affected everybody. Everybody has been affected by this pandemic in some form. But ultimately, and look, my thoughts definitely go out to those particularly who lost loved ones. For sure. There's no replacement. Nothing you can say or do or achieve will ever amount to that lost life, because that's forever gone, right? But if there's one thing I want you guys to kind of, take away, I know that many of us were affected by this pandemic, especially from a financial standpoint, right? From a career standpoint. It's real easy to say all is lost. It's real easy to say that. Many people, including yours truly, had to leave a career that, really, really loved because of the pandemic and the toll it was taking on that respected business. And okay, gotta reset, gotta, what's out there. It's been weird because, some of my friends, they've pretty much taken this pandemic not as an opportunity to try to rise to the occasion and overcome obstacles, adversity, but just settle. Never settle. That's my message. Never settle. Forward. Always forward. Right? The minute that you say you can't, you're already admitting defeat. So I really hope that some of these positive things that I've shared with you just now, you really take it to heart and you kind of, Lee's actually onto something there. So did you guys hear about the Matt Hardy and Jim Cornette back and forth little thingamajiggle on Twitter? Had a nice field day reading this hilarious shit. So apparently they had a battle of words on social media, And some of Cornette's fans even kind of bit him a little bit for what he had posted. So set this up for you guys properly. So initially, Jim Cornette had tweeted out, quote unquote, if you read, watch someone's take and dislike it, why would you waste any of your time to negatively comment on it? This is odd. Move on. People believe differently than you, whether you accept it or not. Unless someone's being unethical and immoral, let people live their life. And I believe that that came from Matt Hardy. I apologize, folks. Matt Hardy had said that. That's what he said first. Now, notice Matt Hardy didn't at Jim Cornette or anything like that, so you can kind of look at that message that Matt Hardy put out there and you can say, okay, that's pretty much a message towards the haters. That's particularly a message to those. The only thing they can focus on is bitch, 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 bitch. Always being negative little Nancy. That's pretty much it. And afterwards, that had people speculating. That had people wondering if Matt Hardy was throwing shade there at Jim Cornette and everything. And Matt Hardy, that is, he actually responded to one fan who asked the question, and he at Matt Hardy and all that. So not for nothing, it wasn't like Matt Hardy was looking. Some wrestlers will do that. Some celebrities, they will do that. They will do a vanity search and they will see who's talking about them. Even if you're not doing the @ symbol, they will just type in their name just to see who's talking about them, right? Now look, if you use that function because, you just want to make sure that, you're reading any interaction that's coming your way, because, sometimes we can miss them. Lord knows I've had people that have hit me up via email, or they'll send me a question during the stream, or they'll send me a DM. Hey man, I had asked you a question about blah, 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 blah. And you never got back to me. You say you're active on social media and everything, but did I do something wrong? I'm like, what are you talking about? What's your handle? I get their handle, and for some weird reason, I don't see their interactions in my timeline. I didn't mute them, didn't block them. So sometimes some joints will slip through the cracks is the point that I'm making. So one fan asked Matt Hardy, doesn't Hardy moan and comment about Cornette's take on AEW? And Matt Hardy responded to that. He quoted and responded. He said, in the past, I've responded to some of his cult over their broken Matt hate to enhance my heel persona. Done with that. Diehard AEW fans view me as a heel, so I'm just going to be me. Be real going forward. Had great respect for JC early on, not into his current shock jock gig. This got the attention of Jim Cornette, who said, and I quote, not a gig, Matt, just my real opinions, since I'm done with this dog and pony show some of you guys call wrestling these days. A shame what's happened to the business. Had great respect for you when you didn't teleport to other dimensions and change clothes in a fucking ice machine. Now y'all gotta admit, that's actually some funny shit right there. Matt responded right back, to each their own. You're entitled to your opinion and I'm entitled to mine. So look, Matt Hardy being very diplomatic about this. Very diplomatic about this. He follows it up, Matt Hardy, that is. The clock keeps moving forward. Times will always change. Either you adapt and change with them, or you end up stuck living in the past. Now, Matt Hardy didn't add anybody. He didn't quote. Nothing. He just put that out there. Jim Cornette quoted this and said, your principles will always be tested by people who care more about fame than integrity or money instead of what's right. cash in and be a whore, or stand up for what you believe in and have a bunch of stupid idiots say you can't change. Words of wisdom. Also, don't do stupid shit. This is almost over, but y'all with me so far? So Matt comes right back. I mean, this is just some nice, delicious shit. When I saw this shit earlier today, I actually had my little diet, my diet grape juice from Ocean Spray, and I'm just enjoying this. I'm having a couple of trips because I was enjoying just reading this shit. It was nice. Matt Hardy comes right back. My principles have never been better, Jim. I believe in enjoying life and providing the absolute best for my family. That's what I'm doing. I'll keep doing that regardless of you. You hate and are done with AEW? You'll keep watching. You have to. It fuels your shock jock gig. Cornette comes right back. Last word. Now I'll give you my thoughts about this overall. Wasn't talking just the lollipop guild you work for, Matt. I mean, all this horse shit. Your company and its amateur booking are just the most egregious. Aligners, folks. Sorry. Its amateur booker are just I already said that. Sorry you have to do shit like this to provide for your family. It must be a rotten feeling. I enjoy speaking my true opinion. So that's pretty much the Jim Cornette and Matt Hardy collision on social media that went down. So, look, I'm like this. I've listened to Jim Cornette for a couple of years now. I've been listening to him off and on for a couple of years now. I'm probably like most of you guys. I like listening particularly to the clips on YouTube. I'm subscribed to his channel. Anytime there's a clip, I will fucking go there. I like doing the clips more than actually listening to the entire show. Very seldom will I listen to an entire Jim Cornette podcast. I mainly like the clips. I like being able to just pretty much pick and choose. Okay, let me go here. Let me go here. Let me go here. And the one thing that I'll say about Jim Cornette, love him, hate him. The one thing I will say about Jim Cornette, he will tell it how it is. His feeling doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just as far as giving it to you raw, no pun intended. He will tell it like it is. If something fucking sucks, he's not gonna sugarcoat it. He's gonna, sometimes it can be hurtful, but he gives it to you right between the eyes. And, I've always kind of looked at and thought about Cornette from this standpoint. Well, what type of friend would you really want to have in life? Would you rather have that friend that will just please you, I should get that, a yes man, yes woman, basically, they basically, yeah, that's a good idea, right? Would you rather have that type of a friend, right? Just imagine, you're with a friend, you're at a store, JCPenney or whatever, you're shopping for new clothes, you see this nice, silky looking shirt, and you're like, oh man, I would look so badass in that shirt, and you start putting it on and everything. And you're like, what do you think? Now, you may be 30 pounds overweight. You got no business wearing that shirt because it looks pretty damn tight. Furthermore, even if you had a bigger version of that shirt, yeah, really shouldn't be pushing it right now. Maybe slim down first, then wear that shirt. I don't know about you, but when it comes to friends, I'd rather have the friend that says to me, honestly, Lee, bit overweight for that shirt. If you're gonna buy it, yeah, but you can't wear it right now. You need to lose some weight first. And that actually happened to me. That's a very true story, believe it or not. I remember I was like 18 or 19, and me and my friends, we were yeah, so obviously like 20 years ago. So me and my friends, we were at a store, and that actually had happened. And I took two of my best friends with me who were, brother and sister, and they were like, they gave it to me right between the eyes. They said, it looks really nice. He was like, but you gotta lose some weight first. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, you gotta lose some weight first. I'm like, oh, okay. And the sister was like, if you're gonna buy it, but you can't wear it yet. I'm like, okay, yeah, you gotta lose weight. I'm like, okay, should I buy it? Like, well, it's up to you, but don't wear it right now. I'm like, okay. Or would you rather have that friend, oh yeah, you look good, and they don't have the heart to tell you, God, man, you big in that, nah, you can't, nah, it's too snug, you can't. Even if you found a bigger, nah, you can't. Jim Cornette is probably that one friend you want to have that will give it to you raw, right? Look, some of the stuff that he says on the show, does it come off very shock jockish? Does it come off like he's saying something to kind of, whoa, he said what? Yeah, but I mean, look, that's how you play the game. He doesn't have all the views, all the downloads. He doesn't have all that great success that he has with his podcast for nothing. I mean, he is one, I've told you guys off and on over the years, when it comes to playing the social media game, Cornette is fucking king. He is fucking king. And I've told you guys off and on over the years, a lot of people can learn a thing or two about upping their social media game and all of that, taking some pointers from a guy like Jim Cornette. Just imagine if Jim Cornette were to one day just run a class, and I think he'd make a killing over it. I actually might email him this question too, because I really think he should consider it. But some of these people that are trying to figure out how to get themselves over on social media to the point that they can put themselves in a position where they can be on TV, get more TV time, maybe have a match and all that shit, and they're trying to do some shit on social media, they strongly, I'm serious, Jim Cornette needs to have some type of online little webinar thing where he can just teach motherfuckers, how to up their social media game, because he's king. He is king at that shit. It's no question. I've listened to enough of Corny's clips. It's no question that when it comes to AEW, particularly, he doesn't hold back any punches. If you ask me, where I stand on the things that he says, particularly about the AEW product, some of his points are valid, but then there are other points where I feel, oh man, he's being a little bit too critical here. He's being a little bit too, he's being a little bit too harsh here. I remember, true story, this isn't long-winded either, so indulge me for a hot second. I'll be able to make my point in about 90 seconds or less. How many of you all listened to some of his reviews for some of the WrestleMania matches? I think that's a prime example. Now, to each its own, but I remember going through about 4 of his WrestleMania reviews, and I tuned out after about maybe 4 minutes because he was, for me, to each its own, but for me personally, he was too overcritical, downright harsh. And I just remember hearing so much negativity, and it was like, God damn, dude, does anything fucking please you? A blowjob, sandwich, something? Yeah, I just kind of remember having that mindset. And I just remember, okay, I X'd that clip out. I'm like, okay, let me go to this one. And like, same thing, rinse, repeat. And I remember the last clip I went on, and I think this was during a weekend or a day after, where he like, oh good, Jim stuff on WrestleMania is finally uploaded. And I ended it on the Sasha Bianca Belair. He even shit. Go back and listen if you don't believe me. If I'm lying, I'm dying, okay? But go back. Even with the Bianca Sasha Banks joint. He found something to shit on, like, and I just said, okay, I'm done. And I remember specifically how I was in the Discord and I was chatting with some buddies, and I said, has anybody else heard Jim's takes on some of these WrestleMania matches so far? You know, he's been shitting on them. You know, and some were like, yeah, that's corny for you. Others were like, you know, yeah, well, you know, he's kind of, but I remember that, like, the small majority that did hear the clips and all that, they pretty much were like, yeah, don't agree. You know, so I just remember, for me, teach its own, but for me, sometimes I'll get to that point when it comes to corny, I'll go, okay, I'm good. I'm good. You know, cause I'm like this, and I'll tell anybody this. If you're watching something that has you just every single time you talk about it, you're that negative. Perfect example. Go back about 30 minutes ago. We just got done talking about Raw. I talked about some good parts, did I not? I talked about things that I liked. I talked about areas that weren't cool and somewhat how they could be improved, right? You know, I that's how I usually do it. But if you just find yourself constantly just shitting on something, just shitting on something, then it kind of gets to a point where you go, okay, so why continue to force yourself to watch this if you know the end result is going to be every time you turn around, you ain't feeling it. You feel that it's going to suck and, you know, and all this other shit, right? You know, so, and then of course you'll hear the old saying, well, it's kind of hard for me to not do that because this is my bread and butter. People want to hear, you know, what I have to say about XYZ and, you know, and it's like, yeah, but if the people really care about you and your product, then you deciding that you're no longer going to be talking about this particular thing over here, then you should, you know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Like, if they're really your fans and you put your foot down and say, I'm no longer going to be talking about this over here, I'm fucking done. And if they're really your fans, they're going to continue to, you know, my whole thing is talk about the things that do make you feel, hey, you know, like, teach its own. I'll have to rely on you guys. I can't remember the last time I heard Jim Cornette talk about MLW or NWA. They've been having a lot of cool shit that's been going on. I can't remember, honestly, I cannot remember if he talks about them, I don't know nothing about it because I don't listen to the full shows. All I mainly do are the YouTube clips. So if he is talking about those promotions, I don't know nothing about it. I know for the most part, he's pretty positive towards NXT. He's definitely pretty positive towards NXT and everything. But normally every time I turn around, when it comes to AEW, you know, I've just kind of gotten to that point where when it comes to him in AEW, teach its own. But when it comes to him in AEW, I don't even bother. You know, I try to, now that's not saying you can't handle the truth. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I can truly appreciate somebody that is truly objectional and, okay, here's what was right. Here's what was wrong. Here's how you got to improve it. I can appreciate that. But the constant Debbie Downers, the constant trash, you know, it's easy for us all to criticize XYZ. You know what I look at AEW as? Perfect analogy. You know what I look at AEW as? Sometimes I look at AEW as that startup podcast. Stay with me a second. Everybody at some point that has entered the podcasting industry, they started off extremely rough, did they not? Including yours truly. They didn't know a thing or two about audio editing and compression and all of that shit, right? And they pretty much had to learn as they went along. Sure, you know, they got harsh criticism from people that were, right? But nothing constructive. as far as constructive feedback goes. They were actually getting more insults rather than constructive feedback. Now, what a motherfucker does with that constructive feedback, that's their business, right? You know, and then you have some people, they're looking at the veteran podcasters. How are they able to do what they do? And you know, you got some of those veteran podcasters that have felt very territorial. They have felt very territorial from the standpoint of when you try to go to them, you know, hey, I'm just starting off my podcast. I could use some help as far as, you know, equipment, any software advice. And they pretty much look at you like the Scarlet Letter. They don't want to have anything to do with you because they see you as a threat. That's the game, whether majority of the podcasters want to admit that or not. That's the game that a majority of them are fucking playing, sadly. I'll help anybody out. Just show me the proper respect. But anyway, AEW is kind of like that startup podcast, right? They've got the right pieces in place as far as success goes when you look at just the combined experience from the veterans that they already have there in place. Not just from a entertainment industry standpoint, but from a booking standpoint, from just a professional wrestling standpoint, just in general. They've got all the experience that's there, yet it feels as though, despite having all of that experience, when you go down that little checkbox, they have it, but they aren't maximizing on squeezing as much of all that good utilization of information they can get out of it to take that product to the heights that it really should be at. And to that point, I see where corny is. My question that I pose is, how long is it going to take for AEW to really get woken up and, you know, kind of think the way I just kind of laid it out and really start capitalizing it? Now, I will say, be devil's advocate. You look at that first year of AEW, you compare it to their second year, you know, they leaps and bounds. I will definitely give them, they still got a long ways to go. You know, but that's just the point where I'm at. It's like, you know, if you don't like something, just perfect example. I love the TV show Black Lightning. I'm crushed that Black Lightning is pretty much coming to an end after 4 seasons. But when you look at the ratings history from episode 1 all the way to now, I mean, it has been this. I know people on the audio versions, they're not going to be able to see my hands, but I mean, it's just been, you know, for you guys watching the webcast, it's just a steady decline. It's fucking ridiculous, a steady decline. But you know something? I love the show. I fucking love the show. They just did a new episode tonight. They've got 3 episodes left. You know where I'm going to be on that third and final Monday when it's going to be their final episode? I'm representing. I'm going to be watching that series finale in real time like everybody else. And whatever's happening with Raw, can't wait. I'll go back on the DVR once Black Lightning is over, and I will gladly catch up on my wrestling, you know. And look, heaven forbid I come on after that, you know, after that Raw is over with, after Black Lightning is done, heaven forbid I come on and I say Raw fucking sucked. Well, at least I'll be able to say to you guys, well, hey, look, here's some good stuff that happened from Raw, but, you know, in this case, the bad outweighed the good. Here's why. Yeah, I actually had watched Black Lightning. Oh, yeah, by the way. And I'll actually, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but I don't like that whole cliche notion of, you know, well, I had to talk about this because, no, you don't. Anybody that has a fucking podcast, you got a show, you're a vlogger, you're fucking, no, you don't. You can talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. It's your fucking show. And if people don't fucking like it, you know, well, all due respect, kick rocks. kick rocks. They know what they're getting themselves into. Look, the only fans you got to worry about really is your core audience, the guys that have been with you. And I tell anybody this: worry about the fans that's with you week in and week out, because those that keep popping up in your chat, interacting with your shit on social media, those are the ones that's pretty much gonna be your ride and die motherfuckers. Don't be so worried about playing to, because, you know what I'm saying? Don't be so worried about that. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. But I had a nice little hearty chuckle seeing those two guys going back and forth on that one. Hey, this week on WWE on Peacock, we got some new content that's going to be going down. So in case you all had missed it, you got an all-new Raw Talk. So catch that. Then Tuesday, May 4th, Best of WWE, Best of Braun Strowman. It's also available on the free tier. Then on Wednesday, May 5th, you've got the April 5th, 2021 edition of Monday Night Raw. That'll be available. That'll also be available on free tier. WWE's The Bump with Kylie O'Reilly will be at 10 a.m. Eastern, also available on the free tier. And you got yourself NXT. Then on Thursday, May 6th, NXT UK and This Week in WWE. Friday, May 7th, you got 205 Live. That's going to be on at 10 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, May 8th, y'all got Main Event from April 22nd, 2021. Talking Smack, also available on the free tier. ICW Fight Club 170. Progress Chapter 110, Skeleton Head. Then on Sunday, May 9th, you get the Friday Night SmackDown edition from April 9th, 2021. Also available on the free tier. And WWE Chronicle on Damien Priest. So that should be pretty good. So I saw that there was a little bit of controversy, mixed reactions to the Macho Man Randy Savage special that aired on A&E, his biography that aired on A&E over the weekend. And I saw it had a lot of people. You see me looking over my shoulder. That's because I want to try to find something. Actually, hang on real quick here. Let me see if I can actually find it. Let's see. I think I'm looking right at it. That's too much moving around I gotta do. Fuck it. I see that there was a lot of mixed reactions, mixed reviews for the Macho Man Randy Savage story. And I remember I had said to folks, I didn't ask it in the Discord, but I had said to folks, so what did you guys think about the Randy Savage story on A&E? Was it much of the same, like the Macho Man DVD that came out some years back, or what? And I chose to sit it out. Because my whole deal was, well, what more am I going to learn? What more am I going to find out that I don't already know from the DVD on Macho Man that came out some years back? That's what I was looking for just now. And, from a lot of the comments that I had saw, a lot of people felt that even Conrad Thompson, that he's always pretty outspoken, but even his words kind of took me back a little bit. But the main theme I kept seeing that was echoed by Conrad was that, this was essentially like the burial, the ultimate burial of Macho Man Randy Savage. And, just constantly reading stuff like that, I just was happy to go, okay, I'm glad that I didn't watch that. Like, seriously. I also saw that with regards to Roddy Piper's story, that one had received some mixed things as well. That was kind of a head scratcher for me. This is the best advice that I can give to anybody that's watching the A&E biographies. This is the best advice that I can give. By the way, who's the next one going to be on? Because I don't know yet, because I didn't watch the Macho Man one. Who are they doing the next one on? Let me know in the chat. But this is what I have to say about the biography specials. There's always going to be that little piece of history that is not going to be recognized, that's not going to be acknowledged. You're not exactly going to truly get the full story because WWE is incorporated heavily in the production of these joints. And these guys pretty much got final say as far as, okay, we want this in. Nah, take that out. Perfect example. Steve Austin and the fact that one of his wives he beat. Right down to the point. I remember there was a time when Steve Austin was suspended. Something weird had went down, and I just remember Jim Ross. Thank you, Steven, in the chat. I remember Jim Ross had said something along the lines of, domestic abuse will not be tolerated in the WWE or some shit like that. And, look, as much as I love the contributions that Stone Cold Steve Austin has made to the business and everything, I look at that one particular period in time, and I got to tell you, and no bullshit, if you all don't believe me, I've got no problem next show having my girl come on live and she will tell you word for word, yes, Lee did say that. But I remember when I was watching the Stone Cold special with my girl, I remember I paused it at one point and I told her, I said, wow, I like how they just tiptoed over the fact that, he was abusive to like his first wife or whatever. And she was like, say what? And I had to give her the background on the shit. And, my whole thing is, look, we all make serious mistakes that put us in a position where some members of society will look at us and say, what a piece of fucking human shit. My whole thing is, okay, have you really learned from your mistakes? Because if you've really learned from your mistakes, then move forward and let's see you become a better person. Let's see how you take these experiences that's happened to you, and let's see how you make the most positive change, not just for yourself, for those around you, for your community. Let's see how you end up being a better contributor overall to society. And I gotta tell you, that was kind of one glaring thing that I looked at from that Stone Cold special that just kind of made me go, well, this was a good special. But if you really, really, know your shit about Steve Austin, you're kind of like, now look, if you ask me straight up, do I believe he's a much different person now than he was back then when he, allegedly was abused? I got to make sure I say allegedly. But you feel where I'm coming from? I believe, I'm not a betting man, but I trust my gut instincts. I kind of feel as though he's changed for the better. But, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those deals. So you always got to look. My biggest advice to folks when it particularly comes to these WWE specials, you always got to have in the back of your mind, especially if you're that newer wrestling fan, you've always got to have in the back of your mind, okay, WWE produced this now. They got final say on what's in the final cut and all that. If I want the complete story, I got to make sure that I go out of my way and, I really research. I really find out, okay, so what really had went down. Like for example, there was one story that was told by Jerry Lawler that was actually incorrect. The special had looked at Savage's life and career, and it featured Lawler discussing Savage's WWE exit and arrival in WCW. Lawler had recalled that Vince McMahon was at Raw looking for Savage, who was a commentator during the end of his WWE run, if you guys recall. And I remember Macho Man wanted to wrestle so bad. He wanted to do some shit with Shawn Michaels. He looked at him and Vince, hey Vince, let me tell you something, dude, brother, man, I can do some magical shit there with Shawn Michaels. Yeah, put me in the ring there with Shawn Michaels. I got a really cool thing, dig it, that we can do, man. Gonna make a lot of good money, tell a really good story, I know that was like the worst Macho Man impression you guys ever heard. I get it. But Vince McMahon was looking for Savage and all that. And, he was trying to, go over the format with Macho Man and all that, but wasn't able to find him and everything. And McMahon was told to watch TV, and then he said that McMahon had a non-reaction to seeing Savage on WCW TV that night. Now, PW Insider, they note that wasn't the actual story of Savage's move to WCW, as he left WWE, then the WWF, in 1994, before WCW Nitro existed opposite of Raw. Savage's first appearance on WCW TV was a taped episode of WCW Saturday Night, December of 1994, which was not opposite of any WWE programming at the time. Y'all with me, people? McMahon actually addressed Savage's exit on Raw and thanked him for his work for the company. PW Insider also notes that Lawler may have been mixing up Savage's move to WCW and Lex Luger's move to the company on the first night of WCW Nitro, when he worked a WWE house show one night before. And Luger was also misnamed as Lex Luger in that episode. So, apparently there's many different production teams that's working on many different episodes of Biography, which explains why you guys, from the Stone Cold to the Piper to the Macho Man, why it just had like that completely different, look, feel, the whole aura. That's because there's many different, teams that's pretty much on this and everything. For example, Billy Corben, not Corrigan, not NWA Billy Corgan. I'm saying Billy Corben, like Baron Corbin. Billy Corben and Alfred Spellman, they were the producers for the Savage special, whereas the Piper and the Steve Austin one, that had different producers. So you kind of gotta see, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, man. You just kind of gotta look at the shit, when you're watching this, and it would really help that before you watch these things, you go in and you got the mindset of, okay, let me do my research. Let me just kind of get an idea of, the overall story, and then just mentally just kind of compare notes as you're watching the special and everything. But yeah, when I watched that, my girl will tell you, when I watched that Steve Austin joint, I just was like, oh, so we're just gonna go right past the whole Stone Cold abuse there, right? We're just gonna go right past that. Okay, all right, cool. Okay, so in the perfect world of WWE, you feel where I'm coming from? So apparently the next biography is going to be on Booker T. You know what? That's a story. Everybody that has followed the career of Booker T, they know about that story. I know about his story, very well. But I wouldn't mind actually watching that of the brother. I wouldn't mind watching that and seeing a nice little updated version. And I would also like to, and I hope they actually do cover it at great lengths. I would love to hear about the whole political aspirations that he's had, because remember, he tried to run mayor, I think, for Houston a couple of times and everything. So I actually will check that out. I actually will watch that. But the other ones, it's kind of like, especially Roddy Piper's one. Roddy Piper's one, it's like, yeah, I kind of already know about that one. Hell, I read Roddy Piper's autobiography that was released pretty much posthumously by his daughter and son, right? So it's kind of one of those, tell me something I don't know. I would trust that biography and Dark Side of the Ring crew, doing their interpretation of Roddy Piper a lot more than something that was heavily produced and had a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but mainly was overseen by guys from the WWE. Speaking of Dark Side of the Ring, they're doing a marathon right now before the season premiere. And remember, they return season 3. It's this Thursday. I thought I was going to have a double whammy this Tuesday. No. So they are back this Thursday. 9:30 p.m. Eastern is going to be their season 3 premiere, as they're going to be tackling part 1 of 2 for Brian Pillman. So this marathon is going to be happening this Thursday. 8:30 in the morning, you're going to get to see New Jack. That's going to be followed up by Road Warriors, Gino Hernandez, Montreal Screwjob, Von Erichs, Owen Hart, Dino Bravo, David Schultz, Brawl for All, Chris Benoit Part 1 and Chris Benoit Part 2. And then you pretty much go right into your new AEW. I'm sorry, AEW. Sorry about that. You go into your new season 3 premiere of Dark Side of the Ring. So looking forward to that. AEW Dark Elevation, that is now online. Some of the matches that they have for this week: Blade and Matt Hardy taking on Colt Cabana and 5. John Moxley taking on Andrew Palace. Hugh Brothers versus FTR. Willow Nightingale faced Thunder Rosa. Red Velvet, I haven't seen her in a minute. Red Velvet was in action against Rika. Baron Black faced Nick Comoroto. Well All Day faced Miro. 10 took on D3. Private Party faced Duke Davis and Gannon Jones. Mahdi went head-to-head with Nyla Rose. Abaddon faced Ryu Mizunami. Dylan McQueen went toe-to-toe with QT Marshall. Orange Cassidy took on VSK. The Gun Club faced Chaos Project. So that pretty much was your Dark Elevation card. MLW news for you guys. MLW is planning for events this September. Major League Wrestling, they announced that they are going to be returning to Dallas for a live event on September 11th this year. And this pretty much comes after the company announced a return to live events with fans starting on July 10th at the old ECW Arena. They've got other dates planned between July and November, with details coming soon. So, hey, look, now that I'm fully vaccinated, if you ask me straight up, do I see myself maybe going to some of these events? Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see myself doing some of these events without a shadow of doubt. Let's see. Other than that, there's a couple of other stuff we can get into, but it can honestly wait until our next show. Yeah, let's end it on that note. I mean, because the little bit of other news that I have, we can pretty much really save it for Wednesday, since we like to go a little bit even more all over the place, talking AEW, NXT, we even sprinkle in a little bit of Impact and all that other stuff. Which reminds me, I know some of you have been looking for Impact Showdown. I think the last thing we did was on Rebellion, was it not? So I got some free time this week, because I actually don't have to be back to work until actually this weekend. And that's mainly due to, my final exams for this week. So I'll definitely be dropping an Impact Showdown for you guys. So peep that out. But as far as programming goes for this week, okay, so this Tuesday night, there's going to be an NWA Power Recap show. So for those of you that maybe you don't have a Fight TV subscription and, you want to catch up on what all you missed from NWA Power, I'll have your hookup. For those of you that, you have your Fight TV subscription, you want to get my thoughts on NWA, that's the show for you. Check that out. If you're not going to be tuning in for that, Wednesday, there's going to be a new RCWR show. We'll cover AEW Fallout, NXT Fallout. We'll sprinkle in some more little wrestling, little tidbits of news since last we were on the air. So check that out. That should be pretty solid. And what else? It feels like, I almost forgot. I'll remind you guys on Wednesday. But if I'm not mistaken, let me look at the calendar real quick. No, it's not this weekend. It's the following weekend. Yeah, I was thinking about a pay-per-view. Impact is actually going to be having an Impact Plus event pay-per-view. But it's not this weekend. It's actually going to be the following weekend. So we're actually okay for now. I think it's called Under Siege. That's the joint that they're going to be doing. So yeah, so we got those shows that's going to be going down for this week. Patreon members, we're going to be working on some new content for you guys as well. Speaking of our Patreon members, shout out to our Patreon members, man. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. That's where you can go check out bonus audio video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to Anthony DeBlasi, Don Tony. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to Michael Wolf, J.D. Davis. Shout out to Gino Morgan, longtime RCWR Show supporter, friend of the show. Shout out to Tony Bing Gaming, going to the very latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel's Avengers, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Tony Bing Gaming on YouTube and on Patreon. Tony Bing Gaming is how you'll be able to find him. Shout out to longtime supporter of the RCWR Nation and Freddie. Appreciate you, brother. Shout out to Wishful Walking Videos. Check them out. They're on YouTube, pumping out new content daily till we get to June or July, I believe it is. So make sure you check them out. Screaming Bulls 1, Screaming Bullseye 1, put in the actual number 1. Check them out on Twitter. They do a phenomenal job creating wrestling sculptors, busts you need to hook up. Definitely hit them up. They got your hookup, man. Good ass quality shit too. Check them out. And other than that, that is pretty much it. So look, as you guys are getting ready to make your exit, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you go out of your way and hit that like button. Pretty much lets everybody else know you had a good time, you enjoyed the content. Hit the subscribe button. Love it when you hit that subscribe. Lets me know you really like me. You really like me. And make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on upcoming content coming your way, man. You hit that bell, you select all notifications. Gotta make sure you select all notifications. I see some of you guys say, Lee, I didn't get a notification. I didn't know you were live. It's like, well, did you hit the bell? You make sure you got all your notifications. All right, so I'm going to take a breather for a couple of minutes. I'll get the audio version of this out to you guys ASAP since I got a little bit of free time. And other than that, get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And I'll see you guys Tuesday night for NWA Power. Otherwise, come on back here Wednesday after AEW Dynamite has gone off the air. Loads more we're going to be getting into. I will talk a lot more about the Mick Foley challenge to WWE, about starting up a women's promotion. I'll go all in about that. What else? Chelsea Green sounded off recently about her time in WWE, some of the pitches that she made. I thought some of the things that she had to say was very, very interesting. So we'll talk about that. Loads more. There's a lot more stuff that we'll be able to get into. So make sure you tune in for that Wednesday show. I promise it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Till next go round, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another, my friends. Y'all take care. Adios.